Welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, it's still Daybreak Africa, and like I told us before we went on the report, that we will be discussing something very sensitive in this particular time. Nigeria right now, as we can all see, not just in Nigeria, across the whole world, we are already in the festive season, but there is a particular tradition in Nigeria which has to do with price hikes and inflation. And one of the parts that we are talking about the price hike majorly is the place of the petroleum industry, which we'll be looking at today. We'll be discussing the petrol price hike, especially in this festive period. We'll be looking at the alternatives, we'll be looking at the challenges, and we'll be looking at the long-term solutions. To discuss with us, we have an economist with us in the studio today in the person of Mr. Fashola. Abiodun, welcome to the show,
thank
sir.
You for having me.
Welcome, sir.
It's been a while I saw Fash actually, so it's great having this discussion with you again.
Thank you for having me.
So now let us look at this petrol price hike immediately. You know, people talked about the fact that like the story the federal government has been telling us over time, and the powers that be, that once refineries are working, prices will go down. Now we've seen the Port Harcourt refinery begin operation recently, but then it's not really reflecting fully on the prices of the petrol as we speak. What's your take on this quagmire that is occurring in the petroleum industry?
Okay, the first thing that when we are discussing petroleum, the first thing there are some determinants that determine the price, which is number one is crude oil price.
Yeah.
So when international crude oil price, that one is international crude oil price. We have the one that is a general price, which is called international crude oil prices. So once it's rising or it's going up, it will affect the price of what?
Of petrol.
Of fuel. So when it's going down also, it also affect what? The price of fuel. So it's one of the factors that determine fuel price, and also the exchange rate, the capital flight that will bring it. So since we're having refinery now, at least we still need more investors, because they have already passed the bill of petroleum industry bill, which allow it to be what? More private.
More private, yeah.
So we are only having just one person now, which is Dangote. So we still need more investors that can come in to beat the price of the fuel down. So once we have more refineries, and once the international price is also what? Improving, like it is improving also, it will also go a long way in terms of exchange rate and other factors. So these are those determinants that affect the price of fuel. So now we are facing, now once international price goes up now, to affect the price of fuel. So and also, yes, refinery also is part of it, because we are still having just one person which serves as monopoly, and the one that we're having as government owned is not working, it's not producing based on the requirements. So that's one of the factors, because the demand is higher than the supply, so it will affect the price of fuel.
But me, I was feeling that the fact that the Port Harcourt refinery is now working today, and then Dangote refinery is working as well, because according to what Dangote himself said, he said his refinery is capable enough to, you know, refine according to the consumer needs, even locally, and all that. And now with the Port Harcourt refinery to already operational, it's still going to reduce a bit of burden from Dangote's refinery, and then, you know, make sure that at least prices come down. When we didn't even have refinery, that we are bringing it from outside the country, we discovered that price was still at an equilibrium of at least, the max you could see outside was 500, 555. That is even from people that were selling an exclusive price. We could still find at 380 something, though we have full deregulation now.
Yes.
Is it that we are having what they call toxic capitalism in Nigeria, where everybody just wants to feast from everybody's grossly from everybody's I don't know how to even put that, but what's your own take on that at the moment?
What I'm saying is that since we are still having just one private, which is Dangote, we still need more hands, more investors. Based on the bill, they are aiming for more investors. Once we have more investors, the price will come down. And apart from those factors that I mentioned about, exchange rate also affects the fuel price. Now exchange rate is around 1718 now. It will go a long way. Okay. So the only thing that can reduce the fuel price is the one of capital flight, the cost of bringing it down. At least if you're having a functional refinery and more investors, the capital flight of bringing it from outside to Nigeria, that one to be zero. It will exclude the cost. Now we are still like depending, and also the one that Dangote is having now is not sufficient, so they are still importing fuel also. So until we have more investors on ground, more refinery in Nigeria, so with that, at least that capital flight and exchange rate, it will drastically reduce the price of fuel. apart from international crude oil prices. So all these two determinants, it will go a long way in reducing the fuel price.
But now, looking at it reducing the fuel price, I'm also looking at something here. So from your own take, you are seeing it from this perspective, because if we are to talk about the prices of the exchange rate. Exchange rate right now, we don't know the day the dollar will decide to come down drastically. Though we experienced some success during the weekend a bit, but it's not so reflecting on the prices of things. And you know, people used to have this mentality about Nigeria that once the prices of things go up,
To come down.
It will come down. It's not possible.
It's not possible to come down again. So what's your take on this particular things happening?
Actually, it's demand and supply. So once you are demanding for, when we have higher demand than supply, it will affect the price. So people are demanding for that particular thing. Once people are not demanding for it, definitely the price will come down. So they see that it's something of necessity. People are demanding for it. So they use the opportunity to what? To inflate the price. So when people are not demanding for it, they're looking for maybe alternative or another substitute for that product or services. The price will surely come down. Once people are not looking for alternative or substitutes, they use the avenue to what? Increase the price. So it's just the law of demand and supply.
Law of demand and supply. But I like the fact you delved into alternatives. You know, one of the alternatives the federal government gave to people was that we should go into CNG.
Yes, gas.
CNG gas and all that. And there have been some fears spread across board that the CNG is not as safe as fuel in itself. So what's your take on this alternative, especially as a short-term solution in this situation where we find ourselves? People will soon be traveling in excess. For some of us will want to still go visit our families across board. And I remember that last year when we were to take the bus, at least the bus for someone like me that visit Lagos consistently, the bus from Ondo to Lagos used to be 5,000 at best. Today I'm hearing 12,000. I'm like,
yeah, some people are saying
why?
13.
Some are saying 13.
Yeah.
Some using flights, like me and a friend that sometimes we know if we are going to Abuja. Now I'm hearing Abuja to Lagos now is going to over 200,000.
Of course.
On top, how much are we earning that would be? So I don't know, these alternatives, are they going to really pull the weight in the economy today?
And looking at the CNG, the use of gas, at least it has its own disadvantages, because now once you like install maybe use of CNG in your car now, there are some disadvantages that will occur. You know, now when you are still using fuel, once your fuel is maybe is empty, you can really take a keg and look for a nearest filling station. Unlike gas now, once you store your gas, are you going to remove the cylinder? I'm looking for where to fill it up. So there are a lot of disadvantages. So there are alternatives like solar energy, or if there's a means, because there are some countries that are doing a switch. They will have the one of gas. You can easily, when the gas is exhausted, you can easily switch to solar or switch to fuel. So if they can introduce that one, and it will take a long time process, because Nigeria we can have that one. So solar energy and other renewable energy can help us to reduce the fuel price and reduce the dependence on fuel. And with that, it will go a long way. Just that it will take a long time process.
Why do you think it's going to take a long time?
Because now we are now having the technology invoked in Nigeria now, unlike other countries, whereby they can easily do the switching. Like they can easily switch to gas, switch to electric, switch to solar, or switch to fuel. But now most people in Nigeria are just converting their car to gas, and they are afraid maybe of being exposed, because there's one that occurred recently. So that one has created fear for people to convert, and also the fear of refilling it. Unlike fuel now, you can easily get extra keg and just refill it. But cylinder now, gas on now, it's having a lot of disadvantages. When it's exhausted, you may not see the nearest place whereby you can fill it. So the solution, if government can provide alternatives, whereby there will be nearest station where they can really fill up the gases, or if there's other method like extra cylinders, once one is exhausted, they can easily switch to the second one before they get to the nearest place to refill. All these things will go in a way, but without all this alternative, people will be afraid of converting their cars to gas. So mostly people prefer solar energy.
But that solar, we don't really have the
that one also has its own disadvantage also. So electric also, all those things that have their own disadvantages. Instead, if you can have like 2 or 3 that they can easily switch to, in case if one fail, they can switch to the second one. So we are not yet technological invoke like that. That's still coming up.
So we've talked about the economic policies, and then we've talked about the global markets, but how about the political decisions? You know, prices of fuels are also affected by political decisions. For us to seek alternative, it means the politician has a role to play for the solutions and the alternative seeking. So what can you say about the political decisions?
Okay, the political decision is that our government to try to like create a policy that will encourage our local refinery to work effectively, and also to make sure that all, things are being implemented, like they follow the bill, that Petrol bill, by creating a friendly atmosphere whereby people can come in from outside to come and invest in petroleum industry by building a lot of refinery. So this will go a long way by giving them assurance in terms of tax, security, and other factors that will encourage investors to come in and invest in the petroleum industry, because that's the main essence of passing the bill, to attract more investors. Once we have more investors, the price of fuel to come down and to improve our economy and develop our country as well.
Fair enough.
That's the political aspect of it.
Fair enough. Apart from the things you think the government should do you have an idea of anything that the government has undertaken to improve this situation?
The only thing is that passing the petroleum industry bill, which was passed in 2021,
it's still not effective.
Yes, the only thing is that they should try to back on the full implementation of it. So that will go along. At least they have already tried their best by passing the bill, because it took a long time for them to pass that bill. And now, once they have passed the bill, now they should try to ensure follow-up, monitoring, and of the bill.
You said something about trying to bring in local investors into the country, to foreign investors into the country, to also help invest in our refineries and all those kind of things. I remember a particular presidential aspirant once suggested that all the refineries that are government owned should be sold to private sector, to the private sector, and let them be the one to direct. But I don't know. Do you think that's a viable solution at this particular time, to sell almost all our refineries to, aside the Port Harcourt refinery now that is still working, or even with the Port Harcourt refinery is working, do you think it's okay to sell all refineries and just hand it over totally to the petroleum station, while the government just sits as a regulator only?
I won't advise such, because the one that we have done now, the one of electricity, we are not seeing positive by commercializing it. We are not yet seeing a positive impact of it. So if government should sell our refinery to private sectors now, what has happened in the power sector also happen. So it's better for government to try to manage it and try to like ensure full regulation of the refinery, to ensure effectiveness of it. So that will go along with that, and giving it to private sectors. Except we have investors that want to come in, like Dangote now, so that want to go along with more investors than just to just to give to private. Yes.
But okay, now that's one other thing. Then you said something about implementing policies and creating a kind of an environment for businessmen. I want to just delve a bit out of the issue of the fuel price, and actually discuss this issue. Like a current policy is being discussed across all borders. I know you might have heard about the tax reform bills. Yes. Do you think if this bill is implemented, do you think it can have any effect on fuel prices or operations of foreign investors in the country?
Okay, the only thing is that the tax reform, they are trying to like reduce the sharing ratio. So they want more to go to the local government and states than federal government. But now, so people are still having like a kind of agreement against it, and which is still pending, because most states, they are generating those money. They are still collecting almost the same share with those lesser states. They are not giving them those revenue. So those things causing a lot of issue, which is yet to be resolved. And now, anytime the government want to reform tax, at least there will be a kind of 3-month notice for awareness, and so that they will educate people about it. So after that 3 months, it will take effect. Now, actually, it's supposed to take effect next year January because they'll be talking about it since October.
Yeah.
So normally it's supposed to take effect from January, but due to the agreement against it towards it now, so there will still be a kind of amendment so that people will benefit from it and so that it won't affect investors. So to avoid multiple tasks on individuals and companies, because those things that discourage investors, multiple tasks.
Yeah.
So this is one of those factors. So they are still looking at it. They are looking for a way to balance those agreements, and with time they come up with a good reform, it will help a lot for government to generate more revenue and to meet its expenditures.
To meet expenditures. But finding out this, I discovered one thing recently when we talked about the issue of the CNG and all that as a viable option. We talked about electric and co. But with the way the message has been passed to the people, do you think a time will come when the Nigerian populace will, warmly accept all the alternatives like the solar, like the electric, like the CNG, as against the petrol? Or do you think even, because one of the things people are raising fears on was the stations will even feel, if you buy an electric vehicle now, you might not be able to fill your tank, I don't know how you want to do it, or charge your batteries in Nigeria properly, because the stations to do that are not much. You can only find them in Lagos, and they are not even that as against the petrol. Same with the gas. You can't really find stations to fill the CNG, in every state in Nigeria. How do you see this particular, or do you think the government are really, really very serious from your own language or from your own perspective about the whole place of alternatives from your own perspective so far?
Okay, what I'm saying now is a gradual process, because now our government depends solely on oil. So now using alternative, it will reduce their revenue. Because now if government is like they want to encourage it, they want to encourage solar, it will affect their revenue, because 90% of our revenue is derived from oil. So they won't have much in terms of revenue, except they divert to other sectors like agriculture or non-oil sectors. But it's going to have a negative impact if we go with solar or electric. People will be patronizing fuel again. They won't be need of buying fuel again, and it automatically the price of fuel will come down, and the money government is making from oil, it will also come down, because people are now using solar, they are using energy, they are using electric. So don't end up using fuel, don't end up buying fuel. They don't have anything to do with fuel again. And negative part of it is that it will affect the government. They won't have access to more revenue in terms of oil aspect, except they go to other sectors, no oil sector, to derive their revenue. So that's the negative part of the government. That's why government is not pushing it. But there's some individuals that are still using solar. So some people are still converting their cars to solar. Those people that have the knowledge, they just get the solar panel and convert it. So it's not government is not, if government is encouraging it, it will affect their revenue in the long run.
In the long run, it is going to affect revenue. Definitely, if we are saying that in the long run it's going to affect revenue, away a bit from fuel and the price hike and everything, the country has an issue actually with, I talked about toxic capitalism at a particular time, and I said the country has an issue about greed. Many people talk about it to an extent that, like, looking at this festive period in other countries, you begin to see that they buy things at more reduced prices. Well, here in the Nigerian setting, we don't buy things at more reduced prices. Instead, at an hike of a price and all that. And someone said it's not as if the prices of things can't actually come down in the country. It's just that we need to go down a bit on our greed. What's your take on this issue of toxic capitalism in Nigeria and the place of greed when it comes to business people in the country?
Actually, what I'm saying is that mostly during festive period, things likely is going to go up because it's season period. Actually, we'll be expecting high price. The only thing is that before that season period, at least if you have fun, you can easily get some of those items a month to, because there will be high demand, and also it's not their fault also as well, because looking at price of the food of the chickens, it has gone up. Another factors also determine the price, and season also is part of those things. So the only thing, there are some people that are still doing like a kind of discount or promo to have more sales. Mostly people expect price of commodity goes up during the time of what festive period. So that's one of those reasons, because we have high demand during the period.
So meaning this is strictly economy,
Yes.
because economics, because they say the higher the demand, the higher the price.
The higher the demand, the higher the
So
price.
it means it's not greed, it's business.
It's business actually, I think, but this business is getting to a point because looking at the purchasing power of people. Actually, it's one of the most sensitive things that we need to look into, but I think we'll look into that shortly. But then you talked about the fact that the higher the price, and someone made a statement actually, which I will read to you the comment. He said, many of the industries are at the point where they don't actually have monitorings of the government, especially the factors of production, strict monitorings of the government. Is it possible at this time that government can also monitor some of the factors of production? Now, I'm not just talking about fuel. You know, if it's about fuel, the government is fully involved. To an extent. Looking at the back and forth they had with Dangote, but I'm talking about all the sectors, the full monitoring of the government and the factors of production. Because anybody can come tomorrow and say, okay, the price of my thing is 2,000 naira. Whereas your factor and everything that's brought to you that price should never make the price of that thing be 500. There are so many products right now that they are sold at very high prices, and even this issue of CNG to conversion, there are some cars that have converted actually to CNG, but they are still charging us with the prices of the cars that have converted, that are still making use of the petrol. Why is it that there is no proper monitoring in this aspect?
Actually, there should be a kind of control price. So a kind of control price should be
price control.
Yeah, price control, and also inputs. Because all those manufacturers, they input most things, so they don't have access to exchange rates, like how to source for exchange rate, maybe dollars or other currency. So they are not seeing government assistance in terms of what inputs, in terms of raw materials being used, because most of those materials is being imported. So if government can subsidize those materials and they have access to like foreign exchange, it will go a long way in bringing down those prices. And also look at power and other factors, raw materials, inputs, and these are those things that determine the price. So if government can intervene in terms of sourcing of foreign exchange, the inputs being made use of, if there can be a kind of what import substitute method, so that they won't be importing. If there are only those items they need to be imported, they can still import. So if government can come in those areas, those people can easily follow government control, and government can have a price control over them. But since there's no all those benefits, they are not seeing those benefits from the government, so they like to come up with any price that pay them based on their cost of inputs. So that's one of the reasons that is determining the difference in prices of producers or manufacturers.
That's another very, very. I want to ask a question actually, but I think we should pen questions. Let's first go for Gold Start. Then when we are back from Gold Start, actually we can. What do you think, Glory?
If it's time, then.
If it's time, then let's go.
Okay.
Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
Right, we are still on Daybreak Africa, right here in KAFTAN Television, discussing petrol price hike during festive periods, exploring challenges, alternative and long-term solutions. I'd like to ask, you said something about not buying the idea of giving the petroleum sector to private sector, from the government to the private, meaning you believe so much in the government, but then we can see the history of price hike right from when it was 60 kobo per liter in 1973 to a staggering price of 1,060 naira. Now it has always been increase per governmental term, increase per tenure, increase per tenure. So do you think it should still be in the hands of the government?
So actually, from the petroleum literacy bill, it's no more in the hand of government again. It's not in the hand of private.
Okay.
So the only thing is that they should create a level environment whereby investor can come in and invest. So to go a long way, where government give them free hand to come in based on their maybe tax and other things that will encourage them to come in.
Yeah.
So to encourage investors to come in and have more refinery in Nigeria, and by that we have a better price of fuel.
And
But now we are not having, the investors are not seeing reasons for them to come in and invest. So that's the thing that is affecting us now.
But you trust it's been in the hand of the government rather than the private?
No, from the base, it should be in the hand of the private.
Okay.
From the bill. But I think the act actually has still gone back for some adjustments actually in some areas, looking at the fact that there are still some controversies, even though it was been passed to law. Some controversies still emanated from it lately. But looking at it, I want to ask a question. I preserved it. Do you think at this time the government should just have like a 1 month subsidy that is going to at least help people to fuel actually controls a lot of things in the Nigerian market. So a slight subsidy just maybe for December / January so that we can catch cruise in peace.
Although it depends on government choice, that sometimes they can easily do that, but they won't make it known. Looking at it, because it can cause a lot of riots. So if they see that this thing can meet up with the landing costs, when we have said that okay, this is the landing cost, people won't meet up. They can try to like do the kind of add up to it. So government is still doing that at the back end, but it's not.
You believe they do it at the back end, but it's not reflecting on there. So if they are doing it at the back end, what do you think would have been the price of fuel by now?
Looking at it, at least it will almost be the same thing with international country, because if you look at the international price of fuel of other country, our own is still cheaper. So it should be at that range. It should be at that range because we have one price parity. Like if you convert our currency to other currency without other factors, we are still regulated. We are dealing with the same price. So it will be more than that currency that we have, that more than 1,110. It will be around 2,000.
Wow. So that means if not for some secret interventions, it would have been 2,000. Wow. But then let's look at it from this angle as we progress on this discussion. What do you think can be a long-term solution to this? A long-term, not in the short. Now, I'm not talking about short-term anymore because I think we've exhausted enough of short-term. Looking at alternatives and all that. But on the long-term, what do you think can really happen to put a stop to this consistency? You know, she raised a very vital point there.
Okay.
1970s, we were buying fuel at 60 kobo. 2024, we are buying fuel at 1,110. Now, the scary thing was that May 28, 2023, we are buying fuel at barely over 180, 200. In the space of 1 year.
It went up to 500
in the space of 1 year. Now we are not even talking 500 now.
That's true.
Like for it to leave 100, you went to 500.
From 500 now we are seeing 1,010. I'm scared now because of the fact that from 1,110 I don't know where we're going to. Maybe 2,500.
Seriously.
So what do you think is a long-term solution? Because the way I'm looking at it, it's looking likely that another tenure might come and fuel will become maybe, who knows, 5,000 per liter. So what's your take? Because the purchasing power of people is actually very low.
Yes.
To at least afford it. I was at the filling station this morning actually before coming here, and I discovered that many could not even buy fuel fully. I talked to one of the bike men when we were waiting for, because to an extent in some parts of Ondo is not that plenty. It's not in abundance. It's a bit choked up. And while we were talking together, me and the bike man, the guy was saying that they don't even know how they make their money from it, because what they used to buy for 700, 800 before and maybe make up to 5,000, 10,000 from it within a space of 6-7 hours. Today, they just on 2,000 naira, for you can even make 5,000. The fuel is finished because 2,000 naira is just 1.9 liters or 1.8 liters at best. That used to be 10 liters for some of us that we are very conversant with the filling station there. So how do you think these things can be maneuvered?
Okay, the way I'm seeing it now, apart from creating more refinery, bringing more investors, the other thing is that we can go into green energy, like using of solar, electric, and also to help us
renewable energy
without depending on fuel. So to go a long way, using our national resource, renewable energy to transport ourselves. But for now, people can see what try to reduce their traveling. They can make use of technology. They can use the mix of technology to transact or like make their anyone that is only a gender that is important. They should embark on. They can mix use of phone or social media or video conference and other IT to reduce their traveling.
But it won't be as sweet as well.
So the best solution is you should go renewable energy. That would be the best thing. You won't be depending on oil again. So renewable energy is the best in the long run. That's what yes, that's a long long-term focus. So we are very soon we divert from oil to renewable energy.
We're diverting from oil to renewable energy. That's going to take a very long time in Nigeria.
It's going to take a long time.
Because I'm looking at it from this perspective that people don't, Nigeria, our educational sector doesn't even really encourage much of research like we actually expect. I remember that even my research projects, I saw them taking, when I was about submitting mine, the ones that did before me, I was seeing their projects going to the incinerator and all that. And we're having more graduates and graduates and graduates and graduates in this country. Year. And yet not much solutions is being preferred to the economy, to our technology fields, except for there is this new tech revolution. Yes. But you know, when we talk about oil, we are talking about renewable energy, we are talking about industry, we're talking about factories, we're talking about things that has to do with this thing. And we don't have that kind of culture in the country. So from your own prediction, how many years will that take?
We have seen it now. It won't take more than 10 years. That's at least we are already seeing changes. At least people are already using electric car, solar. Even I was surprised when I saw solar Marua. Maybe that was last day during campaign. So I saw it that it was KAFTAN something during that period. I saw KAFTAN this thing renewable energy, which is solar or electric Marua. So at least within 10 years or 15 years. People will convert to, people won't be using fuel again.
It's quite unfortunate.
That's quite bold for you to say. For this festive period, from your own end, you talked about the fact that people should reduce their travelings and all that, and you know, come together on social media fields, social media platforms to have your social tete-a-tete with your people and all that. But let's look at something quite more into this field actually. Do you think you talked about the fact that a little subsidy, the government have been doing that on the background and more revenue, but people have been talking about something. Yes, I just got back on that, which has to do with the fact that only the federal government seems to be doing something about the whole issue of fuel. Do you think the local government, the state governments can have their own inputs in ensuring that the ash effect is reduced? Something happened last year when it was at the heat of it and Nigerians have not already, adjusted to the ash realities. Lagos state government and some few state governments in Nigeria, they put in a bit of subsidies to things like transportation and food, which are two necessities for people. Do you think something like that can really work well in this festive period?
Yes, so some people are still doing it, so maybe some philanthropy, they'll just like pay for some.
No, I'm not even talking about philanthropy now.
Okay.
I'm talking about the state governments now and local governments, because now the federal government has made it mandatory that every state has their local governments.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, they are saying state governments should take more responsibilities, because if we are to even implement the tax reform bill, the state government gets their own highest share, 55%. And the federal government gets 10%, 65%, but the local government gets 35%. Normally, the sharing formula of revenues generated, the states are even the ones that gets more, as well as the local government. So don't you think they should be working on things like, even the palliative, it shouldn't be the federal government that should be giving it. The state government, the local government, don't you think they have more impact at this time to ensure the ash effect of this is being cushioned?
Yes, the state and local government, actually, they kind of palliative they will give to citizens. There are some states, they give palliative to their workers. And there are some local government or state that provide food shuttles for their workers also. They just take them to and fro. So state and local governments try to like work on it by providing palliative in terms of transport to like ease the to cushion the effect of this inflation. So it will go a long way. So they they should try to like emulate other states and other local government that are doing it. So with that, at least it will go a long way in cushioning the effect of inflation and fuel price.
But then you talked about philanthropies too as well, which is the impact of people to people. Now, as citizens, what do you think our role is to ensure that at least the price of things goes down a bit? Maybe you just have an advice for maybe some of the marketers as well and some other people too in the market at this period.
Okay, at least the marketers, like, they should not try to put like much profit on abnormal profit on their goods. They should try to like be considerate so that people can easily get more, because now once the price is reduced, now it will reduce our purchasing power based on our income, because people are buying things based on their income they are earning. So you can't be expecting someone that is collecting maybe like 200,000 and someone that is collecting like maybe minimum wage. They are still working on it.
70,000.
So 30,000.
Some have never collected.
So at least it will reduce their purchasing power with the price. They won't have a lot of things to buy. So it will reduce the quantities of those goods they are getting. So marketers will try to put a little profit to their products, not abnormal profit. So this will go a long way in helping each other and to better ourselves also, the economy. So this one will they should not put abnormal profit on their products. So that should be the main point. So they will still make their profit. So they should not be they should not be after abnormal profit.
And abnormal profit is one of the things that I think is affecting prices actually abnormal profits, price control, the PIA, which is the Petroleum Industry Act, the place of light subsidies on the background, the place of more investors, creating an environment for investors into the country. I'm just making a rigmarole of everything we discussed here today, talking about the fact that people can actually cut down on travels this period and just look for means to just make use of the social media to at least fraternize with your people and familiarize with them. Wow, vivid solutions, vital and all that. But I'm just looking at how realistic is going to be this period, because especially for family men or some of our brothers from the east and from the south who likes to go home during the festive period, to enjoy themselves and catch cruise. I know Glory would like to at least visit maybe Akwa Ibom or maybe Lagos or somewhere, the cruise. But then she's a baby girl for life, so definitely she's covered. It's men like us that used to look for funds and all that.
You're
wow,
wrong.
Funny times actually.
You're wrong.
I'm wrong in what aspect?
We all cater for ourselves.
We are all catering for ourselves.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Glory says she's catering for herself too as well. So all of us are looking for funds at the end of the day to get something. Well, it's well. Thanks so much, Fash, for being a part of this discussion.
Thank you for having me.
Everything and all that. I don't know. With time, maybe this whole thing is going to become a thing of the past. And
Amen.
Amen, actually. So I don't know any other thing that can happen. But from your own final notes, what do you think you can just say to the people generally in this particular time? Do you think maybe you should play a bit of PR and try to ease the stress of people?
Yes, as we should we should calm ourselves down. Everything will be fine, and everything will become history with time. We should not bother ourselves. We should not worry ourselves on how to get or how to buy things. We should just we should be moderate in our spending. We should not worry ourselves too much. We should try to cut get those things that we can get easily.
The needs,
we should not go extra miles.
Yeah.
So with that, at least everything will be better.
Thank you. That was quite words of encouragement. And it was really, really nice discussing this program. I believe a lot of us have had something from here, but it's quite unfortunate that the Federal Republic of Nigerian government has subjected the citizens into accepting anything, and we have become more stronger than we should be, because we're literally accepting anything they throw at us. And he has also encouraged everyone to try and be a patriotic citizen by not hiking the price of what you're selling too much. Leave it at what it should be, so that the fellow citizens can have what to leverage on. And we know over the years, for decades now, Nigerians have observed the fluctuating journey of fuel prices. So spanning from the humble 60 kobo in 1973 to the staggering 1,600 naira in
1,060 naira,
1,060 naira in 2024. It's quite a lot, but we have talked about the functioning refineries, which might help ease these problems and bring back the old Nigeria and even better. So with this, we believe something great will come out of this, as long as the government come to our aid and we, the citizen, play our roles very well. Thank you very much for joining us today.
My name is Ikhonede Joshua Odeji. Bye.
And my name is Gloria Emmanuel. See you tomorrow.